Chag Sameach, everybody. Glad you're here. We had some technical difficulties, so the stream started a little late. If you're watching online, I don't know where you're watching from, here, then you hopefully downloaded the PDF of the Haggadah. We're using this one. And I'm kind of sad we're not using the slideshow Haggadah because it's even better. So maybe if you're doing one tomorrow, you'll want to use that one. But if you open it up, we're going to read what we can. We're supposed to be done in record time today. So we're not cutting things out because it's a Seder, and Seder means order. It's not, may I please have some more wine? It's not that kind of ordering. It's the kind that says we do things in steps, one step after another. And we have to cover, if you look at page 3, we have to cover all 15 of these steps, which means you have to stay until we finish all 15. But I'm from New York, so I could talk really fast, so we can get done with this really fast if we need to. That maybe the only way of getting it done quickly is if I talk very quickly. And then you could watch it on YouTube at a slow speed, and then you could understand what I said after the fact. So if you look on page 2, this Haggadah has been used for many years at B'nai Zion. Each year there are modifications to it. Sometimes there are corrections. Let me know if you find any mistakes. But there are also things that apply to that specific year that change every year. Some at our table observe this holiday every year. How many people here have been to a Seder before? How many people here have never been to a Seder before? How many people have been to a Seder at B'nai Zion before? How many people have been to a Seder at home before? How many people online have never been to a YouTube Seder before? Well, that's a lot. I'm surprised. We have no idea who's watching. That was a joke. Passover is enjoyed by people of various faiths. And my family, when we were doing this at home, we always had someone at our table who had never been to a Seder before. First of all, it's fun because Seders are about different things. You're supposed to, the best way to understand the holiday is to ask questions. One of the things that's frustrating about a congregational Seder is that it's harder to talk when we're trying to say all the things and get done in a timely manner. But when you're sitting at a table and you can talk to each other and ask questions, that's ideal. We set it up this year so that the tables are a little smaller, so you have opportunities to talk. You may have to wait until the meal time comes so that you can talk to each other, but please ask questions. We're deeply grateful to everyone who provides love and support to their Jewish partners and families and friends, because there are a lot of people in this room who are not Jewish. We offer special thanks to those who are raising their sons and daughters with Jewish identity and everyone who is living a Jewish life or supporting Jewish ways to ensure the survival of Judaism. Everyone. When we experience Passover, it reminds us of many things. So I want you to free associate, and if you think about what's the first thing that pops into your mind when you think about experiencing Passover, first thing that hit you was what? Overly sweet wine? What in the world is gefilte fish? What are those things? And by the way, this is a very southern Shreveport tradition that there is chopped liver on your table already. And there is gefilte fish on your table already. So the gefilte fish, the chopped liver, they're kind of shaped like star kind of things. So you're not allowed to have the matzah yet. Don't ask me how you're supposed to eat this without matzah, because we haven't said the matzah blessing yet. But it's there already for you. And that's so that you're not starving by the time we get no hangries. When we experience Passover, in this book it says, we were slaves and we were freed. Another thing we remember is that plagues end. And ever since the pandemic began, that brought on a new meaning, at least for me. It felt like a plague, and that it ends. Freedom means being together. When we got freed from slavery, there were a minimum of 600,000 people who were together in one big thing, sharing the same showers and stuff. I don't know how we did that. When we were freed, we gained new responsibilities. As soon as we got freed, the coolest thing that happened is we stood at Sinai and we got laws. So a lot of times when you're a teenager and you're getting ready to get out of high school and you get to be free, you don't realize how many new laws and guidelines there are. You think, man, being a grown-up, being free, this is easy. But the truth is, you get new responsibilities. Then we say our history is our story. The story influences our choices now. You can't forget your history. When we share the story, share it, we learn from each other. When we tell our story to our children, it can strengthen us and their future. Lots of people think that the Haggadah and the Seder is just for the kids. And hopefully as a grown-up you realize it's not, that you have the obligations and they don't. But it's always fun when they're kids, because they ask the greatest questions and we like to watch their faces, and sometimes drinking 2 little cups of wine that's this big and they're under the table singing at us. And it's fun to watch. No, but it's really important for us to have children, and the children are going to play a part for us today. Tonight, we relive our story and share memories through the senses. Be conscientious about the fact that we are going to be tasting and smelling and touching and seeing and hearing the memories of freedom. We do not know what will be tomorrow, but we remember that we have been through a lot, and we continue to hope. I got an email this morning from a priest, a Catholic priest, who asked me a question about when you do the Seder. I understand it's about celebrating freedom from long ago, but what part of your evening is also thinking about hope for the future? So I'm going to let you think about that. Tell me what you think I should say. I know what I said already, but I don't feel like I gave enough of an answer, so tell me what you think about that. We are, I'm going to say it now, and I want to remind you to say it over and over again, grateful for everyone who helped to cook, set up, or coordinate the Seder. You know who Jerry and Kathy are, but there were lots of people here who helped. Some people are here tonight, and some people helped us prepare and are having Seders of their own. We are grateful to everyone who's attending the Seder, in person or online. This page, page 3, that's the order of the Seder. Memorize it, turn the page. So now, you know, at every holy day, we start with lighting candles. It's not surprising because every holy day starts in the evening. Did you see what was in the sky before it got covered with clouds? Does it surprise you that it is a holy day and it is a full moon, a gorgeous full moon? If we start a holy day in the evening, and if we're escaping from slavery, don't you think God would have said, oh, I know, let's do this on a full moon night? That's exactly what happened. Of course it's a full moon. So we are in the middle of the month. On a Jewish month, you can always tell you're in the middle when you're on a full moon. So we're in the middle of the month of spring, it's called. So at this point, I want you to notice that there are, it says on the front cover that the order of the Seder is in this fancy print. The things to do are in this kind of a brownish color. Songs to sing are in a blue color with a little music note next to it. Something to think about. I may or may not get the answers to that today. So if you look at page 4, these things are things to do. It says, please rise for the blessings of the candles and the first cup of wine. It says, no pun intended. Ha-ha. Get it? Rise. Matzah. No rise. Get it? So you know what else we have to do? We have to fill some wine cups. Does anybody have a wine cup already filled? Some people have already been drinking your wine. Here, you do this. Some people have been drinking their wine to just get it ready for us. So be ready with that before we say our blessing for the candles. Oh, we got. Thank you. That was really sweet. Did you see this? How people are taking care of each other? I love that. Thank you. Here's mine. All right, that's going to go down. We're not going to be drinking that quite yet. First, we're going to be doing the blessing for the candles. There are 2 blessings for the candles. The first one is Lahadlik Ner Shel Yom Tov. Don't say Shabbat. And the next one is the Shehechianu. Many of you know these by heart. If you can do it with your eyes closed, that's very cool. And if not, keep your eyes open, and I won't tell because my eyes are going to be closed. I won't know. Brachi b'shemoyim, brachi b'shemoyim, brachi b'shemoyim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Yom Tov. I should have kept my eyes open. And then we say, keep your eyes closed until we do Shechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheanu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lahazman hazeh. Now you're standing, and I need Spencer to come here, please. Can I have one of those microphones? I know we don't need a microphone, except that it has to. Sorry? It's not about. All you want is the first line. And then after that, here's another way we're going to make the service faster. So we're going to do, on page 5, the first 3 parts. I'm going to read first, and then Spencer's going to lead us in the Berei Pri Hagafen part, and then we're going to skip all the Hebrew and turn directly to the English at the top of the next page. You're welcome. So, and I'm going to hold this over here. He doesn't need a microphone, but as loud as he was from that corner, they can't hear him in internet land. But on page 5, at the top of the page, I would like you to join me where it says, "We drink the first of 4 cups to recall God's promise of redemption. I am Adonai, and I will redeem you from the burdens of the Egyptians."
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen. Did you hear him? Wait, don't drink yet. Don't drink yet. We have to say the thing at the top of page 6. It's not the end. So some people think that the Kiddush, is it okay, Max? Some people think that the Kiddush is a blessing for wine, but Kiddush means sanctification. We are not making the wine holy. We are using wine, which is a symbol of human joy, to make this day holy, and we are using grape juice as a symbol of wine for those of us who are not drinking the wine. But anyway, we read together on page 6. Praised are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who has chosen us from among the peoples, exalting us by hallowing us with mitzvot. In your love, Adonai our God, you have given us feasts of gladness and seasons of joy. This festival of Pesach, season of our freedom, a sacred occasion, a remembrance of the exodus from Egypt. For you have chosen us from all the peoples and consecrated us to your service and given us the festivals, a time of gladness and joy. Praised are you, Adonai, who sanctifies Israel and the festivals. Drink the first cup, l'chaim. L'chaim. Todah. What a nice treat. He'll be here, all week? He's in the opera. How awesome is that? This was a surprise. You may be seated. So the next thing we're supposed to do, according to ancient custom, we wash our hands, but no blessing is recited. Washing our hands is a way of showing that we have hope to purify our hearts and not just our hands. It's also a way of feeling clean and ready to take part in the Seder. We created a new tradition way before the pandemic. Instead of passing around a cup of water, we will pass around hand sanitizer. You should have hand sanitizer on your plate. We plan to pass over many plates and foods to each other, but we do not want to be plagued with illness, so please clean your hands without a blessing. We have the ritual squirt. Oh, and then we all start coughing, because if that wine alcohol wasn't bad enough to make you cough, this alcohol is going to help make us cough. Whoa. Okay, we get to start right away with some food. The next thing is karpas. We taste the greens of spring, which we dip into salt water. Did you find your salt water? It's in that little cup next to your plague egg. So we taste it, and we remember spring and the tears that were shed by our ancestors enslaved in Egypt. Can you think of another symbolic reason for dipping at this point in the Seder? Can you think of other symbols that are symbols of spring that you see in the room or outside? So now you're going to take some of the green, the parsley from your Seder plate. Boink. Parsley from your Seder plate. And dip them in the salt water, but before you eat them, you say the blessing. That's going to be a recurring theme. Wait for the blessing. All right? If you didn't say amen, you probably should not be eating it. That's all it is. I'm just saying. So this one in Hebrew, you can help me with the Hebrew, is Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri ha'adamah. That was awesome. Do it in English. Praised are you, our eternal God, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of the earth. And I tricked you, because if you say the blessing, you don't have to say amen. Just eat. Everybody said the blessing, so nobody has to say amen. But if you didn't say the blessing, say amen. And if you said the blessing, you better have parsley. That goes for you. You didn't have it? Get some. All right, remember you're supposed to lean to the left when you eat. Slaves could not relax while they ate. As we comfortably eat, we remember that we are free. We don't have any salad, so forgive that part, but no matzah. And our table, I don't think everybody's table has this yet, but my table has a pillow for every chair. See, my matzah man. So you get to lean to the left. So then we get to page 7, this part called Yachatz. What number is Yachatz in our Seder? How far have we come so far? Come on, go back to the chart. Tell me where we are. We should be counting like really loudly what section we're on. Section 4 out of 15. We're making our way through this. In Egypt, we were poor and had to divide our portions. Now we remember to share our portions with those who are hungry or poor. There are many reasons that I have seen about breaking the middle matzah and showing that things are not whole anymore. I don't know if you have any good ones, but are some really cool ones that maybe we can share during the meal time to talk about it. But you should have a bunch of matzahs on your table. Usually there's always a matzah tray with 3, or maybe a thing like this. Max made this one, I think, in religious school here. But you try to figure out which one is the middle one out of all the ones you have on there. And break the middle matzah in half. And one person is going to hide the afikomen somewhere in this room. We're going to put it in this bag. One person take this and put this in the bag for the afikomen. One person is going to hide it. The kids get to look for it. And once they find it, we'll be able to finish, but not till later. Why do we hide part of the matzah? Well, here's a good reason. We're going to put it aside for later. In a sense, it's like investing in our future. We hope that the things we set aside as special, like our Judaism, and that doesn't mean set it aside, but show that it's special, are things that our children will want to pursue, like afikomen. Say, get a PhD. It's like afikomen. No, I don't know. It doesn't work for me. But why do we break our matzah before we even get to tell about it? The rabbis teach. Read with me. Israel was redeemed from Egypt because of these merits. Our ancestors did not change their names in Egypt. Our ancestors did not change their language in Egypt. We set aside the broken portion of the matzah to remember that what seems lost may be recovered, and what seems broken may be a blessing. Did you notice we didn't say if it seems broken, it may be fixed? Sometimes things that seem broken just need to be a blessing. Now we lift the plate with the 3 matzahs, and we're going to read a little bit. We're going to pretend that this is my plate with the 3 matzahs. And we're going to read a little bit. I'm not lifting this whole thing. It's going to fall apart. So somebody's holding, not the afikomen one, the 3 matzahs. Take 3 matzahs. Take 3 matzahs and hold up 3 matzahs. Okay? Here, hold up 3 matzahs. Hold up 3 matzahs. I want to see some matzahs. Let me see some matzahs. Wave it like you don't. Okay, 3 matzahs. This, point to your matzahs. If you're not holding it, point to it. This is matzah, the bread of affliction, the bread of poverty and sorrow that our ancestors ate when they were slaves in the land of Egypt. Matzah is special bread made without leaven or yeast, so it cannot rise. We eat matzah because it reminds us that we had to escape from Egypt so quickly that there was no time for bread to rise. It also reminds us of the poor food we ate when we were slaves. Let anyone who is hungry come and eat. Let anyone who is a stranger, anyone in need or want, share with us the hope of Passover, for we know how it feels to be a stranger in a strange land. Now we feel as if we are still like slaves. Next year, we hope to truly be free. That was that hope. Put down the matzah. Put down the matzah. Put down the matzah. Put down the matzah if you want to finish the Haggadah. Pour the second cup of wine, but we're not drinking it yet. Everybody pour some wine. We're not drinking it yet. I need some kids to volunteer to do the 4 questions for me. Who else could do it? I need as many kids as want to. Come here. Come here. Come here, come here. No, that's Ron. He doesn't do 4 questions. You want to do 4 questions? That one's Ron. Max is over there. Maggie, you said Mags. I thought you said Max. I thought you were saying Max. Maggie wants to do it. Nobody else? I usually have all the kids. I force all the kids to come up. You're not going to come help her? Everybody's going, no, I'm not brave enough for this. Okay, you ready? Here we go. This one. You got it? Help us out. Manishtana halayla hazeh mikol halayla mikol halayla shebachol halaylot anu ochlin chametz umatzah chametz umatzah halayla hazeh kulo matzah halayla hazeh kulo matzah shebachol halaylot anu ochlin she'ar yirakot. She doesn't look. She'ar yirakot halayla hazeh maror halayla hazeh maror. Next one. Shebachol halaylot ein anu matbilin afilu pa'am echat halayla hazeh shetei fe'amim halayla hazeh shetei fe'amim shebachol halaylot anu ochlin ben yoshvin uvein mesubin halayla hazeh kulanu mesubin halayla hazeh kulanu mesubin. Would you lead us in the English for this, please? Because some of them, did you see, they didn't understand all the Hebrew. I don't understand why. Oh, I know why. It's kind of archaic Hebrew. It's not modern Hebrew. That's why. So would you translate it? Would you read with her, please?
Why is this night different from all other nights?
Do you hear them reading with you?
No, I do not.
I didn't hear them reading with you. Please read with her. You know, how are we going to get finished if you don't do what we tell you? Page 8.
Why is this night different from all other nights?
Now I heard them.
On all other nights we can eat chametz and matzah. Tonight, why can we only eat matzah? On all other nights we can eat any vegetables. Tonight, why do we have to eat bitter herbs?
Oh, that's a good question.
On all other nights, we don't dip herbs even once. Tonight, why do we dip twice? On all other nights, we either sit up straight or lean. Tonight, why do we have to lean?
Great questions. Now, I want you to take that microphone. Who wants to be the wise child? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. We have to pick somebody? No, it has to be somebody else. Some grown-up has to read for us. Pick a table. Who wants to be a wise child? Thank you. Go. You be my runner, please. Hand him the microphone. He's going to read Wise Child. Hi, Alan.
What are the specific guidelines and rules about Passover? What is it that we are supposed to learn from this holiday?
We tried to teach this child, everybody, we tried to teach this child everything we know. Okay, I know somebody wants to be the wicked child. Go back. Yay, I knew it. That hand went straight up. It's an honor. That's an honor to do this. Please help us. Go.
The wicked child doesn't seem to care about Passover. And so she says, why are you doing these weird things? What can I do about Passover?
Good questions. We read together, if someone tries to alienate themselves from what others are doing, it's sometimes difficult to include them. We need to try to find a way to let this child see that it's about all of us. It doesn't usually help to answer, well, with that attitude, you wouldn't have been freed. I need somebody to be simple or innocent. Who's the most innocent person here? Come on. Yeah, that corner. We got that corner. I think it's true. It's so sweet. And it could be, well, you know. So somebody get ready to be the next one, too.
A simple or innocent child is full of wonder and asks, what is going on? Why is everything so difficult? Why is everyone doing these strange things?
We try to use the child's imagination by saying, I do this because it reminds me when I left Egypt. Try to imagine when you left Egypt with me. Who's going to be the child that doesn't know? It's a quickie, go. Yay!
The child who doesn't know how to ask questions is too young or shy or unable to ask anything.
We help them experience our story and the Seder. Typo. We use all of our senses during the Seder to help the child realize what a wonderful thing it was to celebrate how God freed us from slavery and how awesome it is for us to celebrate together. We find a wonderful way to tell them the story even if they can't ask about it. Which child are you? What answers would you give to each of these types of children? Oh, wouldn't you like to know? We're not going to know. We're going to keep going. So this is the story. It's really a long story. We condensed it. It spans hundreds of years. A long time ago, the people prayed to idols. Abraham chose to believe in God. God entered into a covenant with Abraham and his wife Sarah. God promised them that they would be the beginning of a great people. They had a son named Isaac who married Rebekah and followed in the ways of his parents. Their sons were Esau and Jacob. Jacob followed in the ways of his parents and grandparents. He married Leah and Rachel, don't ask, and had many children. One of his sons was Joseph. He married Leah and Rachel and had many children. Many children. One of his sons was Joseph. Joseph's brothers were jealous of him and sold him. Joseph was taken to Egypt where he had difficult times, but eventually became the viceroy of the Pharaoh in Egypt. Pharaoh. He helped to make Egypt a powerful country, especially at a time when there was no food anywhere else. His brothers came to Egypt looking for food and found their long-lost brother Joseph. His father Jacob and all of Jacob's family came to Egypt to live. They lived happily for many generations, and the Pharaoh took power who did not remember Joseph and the important things Joseph did for Egypt. The Pharaoh made all of Joseph's family work for them as slaves. We worked terribly hard as slaves for more than 400 years. Then God heard our cries for freedom and finally brought us out of the land of Egypt and out of slavery. Cover up your matzahs. Cover up. There, yeah. Thank you. Oh, nice catch. Lift the cup of wine, but we're not going to drink it yet. Where's my wine? Here we go. Lift it, and we're going to sing this song. V'hi she'amda lavotenu velanu. V'hi she'amda lavotenu velanu. That's good. Put down the cup of wine. Uncover your matzahs. And we do this one. Oh, Spencer, please help me with this one. Please. You don't have to. I know my voice is deeper than yours, so you don't have to do this one. Ready? When Egypt was in Egypt land,
let my people go.
There you go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand,
let my people go.
Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. Should we have started lower? Or that was good? Thank you. I love that. Let my people. Did the floor rumble? That was pretty cool, wasn't it? These are the 10 plagues that God sent to Egypt to convince Pharaoh to let the children of Israel go. I was reading a thing the other day that said, there are many times we try to make this part not so scary for the kids. So we've got puppets of them, and we have masks of them, and I have plague eggs for you. You can open up your plague egg now if you want and see what kind of plagues we have. But this was very serious. What we do in my family is you take your pinky finger and you dip it in your wine. What did I do with my wine? It's over here. And you have a plate ready, and after each one, you drip it onto your plate. And then you have a plate that has plagues on it. And your cup is diminished because it's sad that people were hurt for this. But then in my family, we lick our plague finger right off. We read each plague. Dip your finger in the wine and drip the wine into the plate. We realize that although the plagues helped to free us from the land of Egypt, the joy is diminished, since the Egyptians suffered too as a result of the Pharaoh's evil ways. We're going to say them in Hebrew and English. Do it. Dam, blood. Tzfardea, frogs. Kinim, lice. Arov, beasts. Dever, cattle disease. Shachin, boils. Barad, hail. Arbe, locusts. Choshech, darkness. Makat bechorot, death of the firstborn. Are you sad yet? I'm sad. God's mighty wonders and awesome powers freed us from the land of Egypt and then saved us from the Sea of Reeds and the Pharaoh's armies once again. When we were safely across the sea, we were so overjoyed that we burst into song. So I just wanted to point out, you see my lovely jacket today? I wore it because, not just because it's fancy, but when I looked in the closet, I thought that all these things were swirls, and it reminded me of the parting of the sea. But it turns out that they're roses, which is okay, because that's kind of spring too, but pretend I'm being the parting of the sea. Maggie, you want to help me again? I don't know if I can get anybody else to volunteer except Maggie. Where'd Maggie go? All right, ready? Pick a tambourine, any tambourine. Anybody else want a tambourine? So you want a tambourine? Who wants one? Pat, Maggie, come here, this way. Come up and dance, come up and dance. And we're going to do this song. All right, come on. Yeah, all right, come on. We got to do this. We're going to sing and we're going to dance. You are welcome to be inspired by singing and dancing and standing up if you want. It goes like this. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night. Wait. I didn't hear any tambourines, did you? I heard this. I heard this. We were really happy to make it across the sea. I want to hear this. This is how you tambourine, right? Let me see it. Ready? Do the chorus again. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one which sang our history. With every thread and every strand she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she dances toward the light. Get ready, here comes. Let's hear some clapping and dancing. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. Woo! Thank you. All right, you put that over on the table. Thank you, thanks. The M's, the Maggie, the Marquis. The word die. You know what die means in Hebrew? It doesn't mean what it feels like it means in English. It means enough. Die means enough. It almost means that, doesn't it? Enough. The word dayenu means it would have been enough for us. We would be grateful for even one of God's miracles, but there were so many. So I want you to think about today some of your own dayenu moments. If you had nothing else, would it still be enough? You can help me with this one. Ilu hotzianu mi Mitzrayim, hotzianu mi Mitzrayim, dae. Everybody, daenu, 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 daenu. Eilu natan lanu et ha-Shabbat natan lanu et ha-Shabbat daenu. Let's hear it. Daenu, 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 Daenu. One more time. Ilu natan lanu, eta toira natan lanu, eta toira Daenu, 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 Daenu. We're about to talk about our Seder plates. I want you to look at the bottom of page 12, because over the years there have been times in our history and in our world where we have realized that there are other symbols that are important to us also. And these are some of the symbols that had been suggested over some of the previous recent years. So take a look at that. All right, what's on your table? Understanding the things on the Seder plate helps us take the journey from slavery to freedom. Do you have other explanations than what we're going to give for the things that are on your Seder plate? Can you think of other things you would put on your own Seder plate? Point to these things as we describe them. Can you find them? I'm going to show you mine because you're going to be surprised what I have on mine. Zroa. Point to your zroa. This is my zroa. It's a shank bone that I get to save every year because it's, a doggy bone. Plastic. Zroa is the roasted shank bone, or if you're a vegetarian or vegan, you might have a roasted beet instead. It reminds us of the sacrifice of the Paschal lamb, the lamb that had to move into the house with you, which was part of the commandment that helped God pass over the homes of the children of Israel. Maror is the bitter herb. Look how big my bitter herb is today, guys. I'm saying, don't mess with me today. Yeah. It's horseradish on our table. Maror reminds us of the bitterness and pain of slavery. There's also on some Seder plates, there's something called chazeret, which is a bitter leaf kind of a thing. We don't always have that. I didn't grow up with chazeret. I gained chazeret as part of the later life. Charoset. Can you find your charoset? You have charoset? Point to your charoset. It's this giant bowl in the middle of your table. It's a mixture of chopped apples and nuts and wine and spices and sometimes other yummy stuff. It reminds us of the bricks and mortar Jewish slaves had to make when they built cities for Pharaoh in Egypt. That's one of my favorite things. Why is the mortar so delicious in Egypt? I don't know. I saw a comedian, someone sent me this morning, about the Jews built the pyramids and they figured out that makes a lot of sense because they told them to make this thing and make a very important building and make it square. So they put a bunch of bricks around in a square and they said, that was a lot of work. What if we just kind of made a smaller square? Nobody knows this difference, right? And so they made another layer and it was just a little bit smaller. And they said, look, nobody noticed. Let's do it again. And we kept going around and making it smaller and smaller until the pyramid. And they said, hey, look, it's going to be a tourist attraction. You're going to love it. All right, sorry. So, charoset. Karpas is the green vegetable, like parsley or watercress. We already ate that. It reminds us of spring and rebirth. And then you've got your plague egg. But I have a roasted egg. It's a hard-boiled egg that's roasted. It's a symbol of life and renewal, but it reminds us of the offerings our ancestors made long ago when they prayed in the temple in Jerusalem to give thanks for their fertile fields and flocks every springtime. And then we have this story of the 5 rabbis. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was little and I was doing this, it was like the longest, most boring part of it. So we're going to read this in our quick way. Anybody think they could read it quicker than me? Right. In Many Haggadot, we read a story about 5 rabbis, Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Oshua, Rabbi Elazar, Ben Azariah, Ben Akiva, and Ben Tarfon. They had a Seder that lasted until the morning, and their students had to tell them it was time for the morning prayers. These 5 Talmudic scholars aren't just random wise men. They were the wisest rabbis in the period, directly following the destruction of the temple in 70 CE. This nocturnal meeting we had read about then wasn't just a leisurely Seder, or about rabbis who are so religious that they don't know when to end their Seder. It might well have been a discussion on how to continue and sustain Judaism now that its beating heart, the temple in Jerusalem, was no more. If nothing else, we should learn from these men that even the shadow of great tragedy, faith and friendship always find the way to move forward. I felt like after the pandemic, that's what we had to be like, was figuring out new ways to pray when the temple was destroyed. Fortunately for us, our temple was not destroyed, and we are back, but we still came up with some new and creative ways of worshiping. Lift up your wine cup, please. This is the easiest part, the lifting the wine cup part. Listen to this table. They cheer every time I say lift up the wine cup. In every generation, each of us must see ourselves as if we ourselves came out of Egypt. As it is written, you shall tell your child on that day, saying, this is what God did for me when I came out of Egypt. The Holy One whose praise did not redeem only our ancestors, but delivered us as well. As it is said, God redeemed us from that place in order to bring us out and give us the land that God had promised to our ancestors. So we drink the second cup of wine to recall God's promise of liberation. God said, I will deliver you from their bondage. So we say our blessing, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen l'chaim. Now we get to wash our hands again. We remind us how important it is to make a fresh start. This time we're going to say the blessing for washing our hands. You don't have a pitcher like this with a double-handed thing for washing hands, but you could use the sanitizer again if you want. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim. And I do it like this, 3 on this side and 3 on this side. Now, we pass out pieces from the top matzah and the middle matzah, but we're waiting for both of the next blessings before we eat the matzah. Don't eat it all in one bite, because you're going to need that one piece of matzah for a few things. So we say, believe it or not, you know what the blessing for matzah is? Motzi, same as you're eating bread. I know it doesn't feel like bread and doesn't taste like bread, but we wait for this. Ready? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. But we're also going to say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav, who made us holy with commandments, vitzivanu, and commanded us, al achilat matzah, commanded us about eating matzah. Take a bite. Oh yeah, that's what I remembered. Eat some matzah. Now you have to take, we're page 16, woot! We take, and at the bottom, page 16 is the meal, just saying. We put a little horseradish on some matzah and wait for the blessing. But Rabbi, do I have to? What's the answer? Yes, you have to. You have to have it just a little bit. You have to clean your nose of all the hairs in your nose and put hairs on your chest. You have to remember how bitter it was to be a slave. And you have to do that with tasting it, smelling and tasting it. The blessing is a commandment, not a suggestion, commandment. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kadeshanu b'mitzvotav, vitzivanu al achilat maror. Praised are you, our eternal God, who made us holy with your commandments. You commanded us about eating maror, eat the maror. It hurts, it burns. Okay, I'm okay. Now you're supposed to take some more maror and take some charoset and hear the story. We remember the days when the temple stood in Jerusalem and Rabbi Hillel combined matzah and maror in a sandwich and ate them together to fulfill the teaching in the Torah that said, they shall eat it with matzah and maror. Eat your meal. Time to eat. What meal, you say? I don't know, where's the meal? Kathy, Jerry, where's our meal? Here they come. Meal time. Meal time. We started a little bit late. So eat fast and we can get out of here. I enjoyed that so far. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Yeah, is it good? It's always good? Chopped liver is really good? Gefilte fish is good. They have secret ways of preparing the gefilte fish. So just so that you know, after the meal, the kids have to find the afikomen, and then they'll find it, and then we will continue. You may have noticed that we still have 2 more glasses of wine, and we have the most fun songs coming up afterward. and it's a shorter part afterward. So enjoy your meal, get to know other people, and thank you. we're going to say Happy Passover. Say,
I'm sorry.
no, okay, say Happy Passover.
Hi,
And we got very loud. Dessert is being served. Afikomen, if you're a child, you can look for afikomen. It's hiding somewhere in this room. Do not leave this room to find the afikomen. Afikomen is in this room. We found the afikomen. That means finish your dessert quickly so that we can finish the Seder. We still have 2 more glasses of wine to do and a couple more songs to sing. Did you solve the problems at the back of the Haggadah yet? Right here. Can everybody see Maggie right here? Maggie has some games to play. They're geared toward, I would say, probably more like middle school and high school kids. If you'd like to come play some games, we would love to have you here. We could have littler kids too, but she's ready to lead a game that we have. That's a very cool game, we think. Unless you're busy eating, then eat. Who's still eating? Did you finish your dessert? Everybody finish their dessert? Well, we finished the afikomen, so we can continue if you like. There's not much left, but we're on page 17. Maggie, you want to show us what you have in your hand, please? So the kids, after they got their afikomen, look what Maggie has. It says that God saved us with a strong hand and an outstretched arm. So the kids have been playing in the corner trying to save my minions so that we always know we have 10 people. And they're catching minions with their strong hand and their outstretched arm. So page 17, I know, we have happy kids. They got their prizes. Page 17. Do you know there's no commandment about having to say a blessing before you eat, but there is a commandment about saying a blessing after you eat. So it says on page 17, when we say blessings, we are developing the art of appreciation and gratitude, thereby deepening our relationship with God. Now, normally, a blessing after the meal is about this many pages long. You usually say a really short blessing before you eat, and you say a very long blessing while you're sitting and digesting, and you ask for all kinds of things. You thank God for the place and the people who made the food and for the house. And then, oh yeah, well, maybe please bring peace, and it goes on and on and on. We do a very short one here that I teach the kids. It has the same melody, but it says, all living things need food. Thank you, God, source of food for all. Baruch atah Adonai, hazan et hakol. If you didn't sing it, you say amen, you get credit for having said it. You're welcome. All right, make sure you have some wine in your cups, because in case you didn't notice, we had only 2 cups of wine before, and we have to have 4 cups of wine. Who read my email today that said there was a joke that I saw? Uh-oh, somebody needs more wine. If you read the email, it said that maybe the 4 cups of wine are so that the matzah starts tasting better. I don't know. But we are on page 17 in the middle. So you'll notice that each of the 4 cups represents a different quote in the Torah about how God saved us. And this one says on page 17, we drink the 3rd cup of wine to recall God's promise of freedom. God said, I will redeem you with an outstretched arm. Look at those outstretched arms. But they better not hurt anybody. Otherwise, we take the outstretched arms away. Careful, careful. All right, we're lifting up the 3rd cup, and we're going to say the blessing. And Spencer had to go. He had rehearsal, so you're going to have to sound boomy without him. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pari hagafen. Thank you, God, for the creating the fruit of the vine. And we said, amen, I heard it, l'chaim. All right, now we have these unusual cups. We picked these lovely ones. This one, just because it was big and lovely, and we want Elijah to find it. Like sometimes people give them really small ones. So we want Elijah to find it. This beautiful wine cup is placed in the center of the table, waiting for our honored guest. Everybody here is my honored guest. Eliyahu, Elijah the prophet. Long ago, Elijah protected the Jews from an evil king and queen. He healed the sick, he helped the weak. When his days on earth were over, legend says Elijah rode up into the sky on a chariot of fire. So he might not have even died. Legends also tell us that this mysterious man returns to earth to help the helpless, to answer the unanswerable, and to remind us that someday when the Messiah comes, all people will be free. All over the world, in every Jewish home, children open the door on Passover to invite Elijah to enter. Perhaps tonight he will honor us and enter our home. Our hope makes a bridge between heaven and earth. I'm going to put a little wine in his cup to maybe entice him, Uh-oh, grape juice. Maybe that's better. Maybe he likes grape juice more. That's good. He's got to go to everybody's house and drink some, so that's enough. So I need some kids to help me. We have to open the door. Who's going to come help me? Come, I need all kids. It doesn't matter how old you are. Anybody who wants to be the first to see Elijah coming in the door, we're going to come. We'll have security guards. We'll have Declan. We'll have everybody here. And I don't even think they can see us, but we're going to sing this song at the bottom of page 18. We have to open up the door and invite Elijah to come in. Pick a door. Which one are we going to open? Okay, open the door. Let's see if he's here. Let's see if he's here. Ready? We're going to sing the song. Eliyahu Hanavi. Don't go far away. Declan, come here. Eliyahu Hatishbi. Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi. Bimhera v'yamenu. Yavo Eleinu. Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben David. It means Elijah the prophet, Elijah the Tishabite, Elijah the Gileadite. May he come soon in our day. Close. It is said that in each generation Elijah the prophet returns, but he's disguised as a poor stranger. He knows by the way people treat him when he's disguised as a poor stranger whether the world is ready for the Messiah. So if a poor stranger showed up at the door just now, what would we do? Would we say, oh, please come when you're dressed better? We would say, you're too stinky to come to our Seder? We would not. Do you think we're ready yet? Well, that's a good question. That's a very good question. I don't know, because maybe that's why Elijah's not showing up. I don't know. And then on page 19, this lovely cup, we're going to put some water in. This cup, we're putting water in, and this cup becomes our Miriam's cup. There's a tradition that Miriam, the prophet, helped to sustain the spirits of the children of Israel in Egypt and during the long journey through the desert of the Promised Land. Miriam's well, the water, followed the children of Israel through the wilderness and provided water for drinking. Let's remember her at our Seder. We have a glass of water here to symbolize Miriam's sustaining waters. You know why we think that? Because as soon as she died, we had no water again. Then we get to the fourth cup of wine. Aren't you glad you stayed? So do you have wine in your cup? We do. Surprise, we have wine in our cup. We drink the fourth cup. Let's do this together. Page 19. We drink the fourth cup of wine as we conclude our Seder with hope and with joy. We know we are partners with God to bring freedom to all who are captive and bring peace to our world. So we raise the fourth cup of wine and we say the blessing. Let's do this one in English first. Praised are you, our eternal God, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei pari hagafen l'chaim. Oh yeah, 4 cups. So what does it say? It says the Seder is complete. What? It's been prepared according to the guidelines of our traditions. We hope that even if we weren't perfect, the insights we've gained inspire us to continue to pursue freedom and enhance our connection to our people, to traditions, to faith. Did you all take pictures? I want some pictures. I'm watching. I like it. No, I like it. So next year we're going to say this. Everybody kind of say this loudly because we said it last year and I don't think anybody heard us. We're going to say, next year in Jerusalem. Would that be cool? Would they let us do this? Yeah, let's do this in Jerusalem next year. Lishana haba b'Yerushalayim. But before we leave, would you please sing some songs? I made these songs easier to read. I saw a really great video today that said, apparently, and I don't know what show they were talking about, but apparently Chad in some show is not a great guy. He's kind of a, anybody know what show it is? That Chad is not a good guy? He's kind of a henchman who's kind of an inept henchman? I don't know. But she was trying to say that the reason why Chad wasn't such a great name is because of this song, Chad Gadya, but it's not Chad Gadya, it's Chad Gadya, which is Aramaic for one little goat, which we used to also call a kid, but I don't like scaring our kids, especially after 4 glasses of wine, and think that the cat ate the kid, and then he thinks, I don't want to do that. So it goes like this. My father bought for 2 zuzim, Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. Then came the cat that ate the goat. My father bought for 2 zuzim, Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. All right, you can tell here who are the veterans and who are the newbies. Because if you're looking at the book, you're not the veteran Seder goer, right? Because the challenge is after 4 cups of wine, can you do this in memory mode? Think about it. There was a goat and the cat ate the goat. You got that, right? Then came the dog that bit the cat. They ate the goat. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. Can you act it out? Then came the stick that beat the dog, that bit the cat, that ate the kid. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. Then came the water that burnt the stick, that beat the dog, that bit the cat, that ate the kid. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. Then came the water that quenched the fire, that burnt the stick, that hit the dog, that beat the dog, that bit the cat, that ate the kid. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gadya. All right, this starts to get gory, and I don't feel like being gory anymore. Let's do the next one. This one is another memory song. And I've got all the words for you, and I made it look way nicer than it did last time. This is Max's favorite one. Max doesn't have the microphone. Max may have to come and get the microphone. In Hebrew, we say, Echad mi yodea. Who knows one? And the answer is supposed to be, that's right, I know one. So Max is going to tell us what it is in Hebrew. What?
Echad ani yodea.
Echad Eloheinu, 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 Shebashamayim uva'aretz. So in English we say, who knows one?
I know one.
One is God in heaven and on earth. So tell me the truth. Wouldn't you rather be singing it in Hebrew than in English? Anyway, but let's do it in English. Well, you want to do 2 in Hebrew? Shnayim yodea.
Shnayim ani yodea.
Shnei luchot habrit. Echad Eloheinu, 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 Shabashamayim uva'aretz. All right, we're going to do it in English. So we just said one is God in heaven and earth. 2 are the tablets of the covenant. But if I asked you about 3, and you were supposed to come up with something that's 3 in Jewish tradition, what would you say is a 3 in Jewish tradition? And if you only answer the answers in the book, I'm very sad. What's 3? Oh man, now I'm very sad. All right, who knows 3? I know 3. 3 is the number of the patriarchs. 2 are the tablets of the covenant. 1 is God in heaven and on earth. Who knows 4? What's 4?
4 children.
Oh, 4 children ask the questions. 3 is the number of the patriarchs. 2 are the tablets of the covenant. 1 is God in heaven and on earth. Who knows 5? What's 5? Oh man, these people had way too much wine. They're just reading what it says in there. Did you have the good wine? They had the good wine, that's why. You're not supposed to read the book, just come up with your own answers. I don't have to give you all the answers, that's embarrassing. I know, that's why I said you newbies. All right, just kidding. That's a 5. So what did we say? 5.
5, it was a normal one.
5 books there are in the Torah. I know, that's because you're reading the book. You're reading. We're trying to come up with creative answers. You win anyway. You got the answer. 4 questions, 4 children ask the questions. 3 is the number of the patriarchs. 2 are the tablets of the covenant. 1 is God in heaven.
on earth.
You're good. You gave us the right answer, but we want new creative answers if anybody's got any. We may not have any. Like, if somebody says 6 orders the Mishnah has, I'm going to challenge all of you to name the 6 orders of the Mishnah, except anybody at that table. Because, really. So I think you could come up with another 6. What do you think is 6? Go over. What's 6? What's 6 that's not Mishnah?
Points on the Star of David.
Points on the Star of David.
Oh, now we're talking. 6 points on the Star of David. 5 books there are in the Torah. 4 children asking the questions. 3 is the number of the patriarchs. 2 are the tablets of the covenant. 1 is God in heaven and earth. All right, can you do a 7? We have to do 7 what's in there? Or do you have a new 7? I don't care. They're answers. I'm happy with either answer. I didn't mean to disparage anybody who's reading the book. I am very proud that you're reading the book. I worked very hard on this book. I'm up until like 3 o'clock every morning. Who's got a 7? What's a 7?
The number of times a bride circles her husband.
Oh, so
good
some
one.
people, the bride will circle the husband 7 times. There are some traditions where the groom circles the wife 7 times. We do it sometimes. If you're circling, we do 3.5. Everybody gets 3.5. And everybody's dizzy, and then you wonder what they're saying when they're saying I do. So we're going to say 7 circles in the wedding. How about that? All right. 6 points on the Jewish star, or Star of David. 6 points on the Star of David. 5 books there are in the Torah. 4 children ask the questions. 3 is the number of the patriarchs. 2 are the tablets of the covenant. 1 is God in heaven. I have to tell you the truth. I mean, that's still my favorite answer. I know, that was good. All right, we got 7. How about 8? Anybody have an 8? Because anybody want to say 8 days a week? What did you say? No. You have another one? What's 8?
8 candles on.
8 candles in our Chanukiah. What? You see what we're talking about? 8 candles in our Chanukiah. 7 times you circle at the wedding. 6 points on a Star of David. 5 books there are in the Torah. 4 are the children asking the questions. 3 is the number of the patriarchs. 2 are the tablets of the covenant. 1 is God in heaven and on earth. And that's as far as I'm going. I don't know. You come up with others for yourself. We are good. You can sing the ones in here. You can sing the ones you remember. I don't know if I could remember anybody. Did everybody get the answers? If you need more answers to this, I will help with that. And make your froggies there. We have more stuff. You could take home some to-do things. But this is the end of our Seder. You can stay if you want and meet people and schmooze. But we're so glad that you came. Did you enjoy your dinner? Let's hear it for the... Thank you for the dinner. Thank you to our kitchen staff. We only have one person out here thanking him. And did you have fun at the Seder? Thank you. All right. Thank you. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on 1 second. We got a microphone for you so we can hear you. Wait.
Thank the rabbi for a wonderful evening, a lot of hard work, and also her great...
And thanks to Max for making the sound and the streaming possible. Thank you.
And Jerry Blankenship to put it on. Good. Jerry, stand up.
Stand up, Jerry.
Kathy.
Jerry helped make sure that everybody had a place to sit and that your tables looked wonderful. Yay! Everybody thank Kathy because she made sure we had food. She was in charge of the menu and making sure everybody had food. Wait, hang on. Let's get her a microphone. She needs a mic. She doesn't need a mic. I got another microphone somewhere.
Kathy, just a minute.
Hold on. But you got to put it by your mouth, Sydney. You can't hear you.
Rabbi, sit down.
We can't hear you if you're not putting it by your mouth.
Can't hear me anymore?
Now I can.
We are very, very fortunate to have a wonderful rabbi who works awful hard, who makes us happy, and we have a congregation because of her. By the way, I want to let you all know that Mandy Sub is leaving Shreveport to go with his family in Houston. He'll be leaving Friday. If you all want to visit him, he said he has a big apartment in Houston. Anytime you want to come over, he says, welcome. So anyway, I was going to say something about a happy birthday, but I'm not going to. But anyway, I'm going to be 95 in a couple of months.
95 in a couple months. Kanahara poo poo poo. 95.
I just want to take a moment to say, Jerry and I did not do this alone. There were 23 people from our congregation at one point or another who helped. So, maybe it takes a couple people to push them. But that's okay. We're all Jewish mothers. A special thank you to Karen. And by the way, our shopper extraordinaire, her husband, Pat, if you don't shop at Albertsons, you're making a mistake. But anyway, thank you all for being here. It's been our pleasure. And, if you can't make it to Jerusalem next year, right here.
Woo! Thank you, everybody. This is wonderful. So make sure you meet people and drive safely. And we're glad you're here. Thank you.
In 7 words. You asked last, and I